3 dark seduction tricks to get someone to
the
chase
dark
you.
arts.
1. Tell them why you could never be together.
Did anyone else see the way her eyes rolled back into her head at the beginning of that? Let's rewind.
Maybe they're too young or you're in the same friend group. This is called the forbidden fruit effect. We want something that we can't have and that challenges us.
Or they're gonna feel immediately rejected and crushed until maybe later where you show them some interest again, but not after they've been through a whole lot of confusion and emotional torture. Fantastic way to start a romantic connection, by the way. You don't have to pretend to be disinterested in someone. Just don't be like available at the drop of a hat or super desperate and clingy or just throwing yourself at them.
2. Telling them you see them as a sister or a brother. This enrages people, and from that point on, they start acting anything but like a sibling to you.
Or you're gonna attract some dudes with some very interesting fetishes.
3. While you're talking to them, lean back in the chair. This sends a subconscious signal to them that they need to work harder for your attention.
Surprisingly, after those first 2, I half agree with this one. Relaxing and leaning back while talking to someone can show a lot of confidence and comfort in your own skin and also encourage them to kind of relax and open up too. But I don't think anybody's like, oh man, I gotta work hard for her now because her body's at a 110-degree angle.
Real men love toxic women, and if he's a real alpha, he
talking
can handle
about?
your bullshit. Look, we love toxicas. We love the women that throw shit around the house.
This guy's a
because
dating
we love
coach?
that feistiness, that Brazilian feistiness. And if you don't have it, chances are you're gonna bore us, or you
Oh, I love complete chaos and instability and the cops coming to my house at 3 a.m. and shaving 10 years off my life because I'm having a freaking heart attack. If you actively think it's hot that somebody's violently throwing around shit in your house, you got some serious issues, man. Of course we want a woman who's a little independent and not a pushover and has boundaries and is willing to like disagree and have her own opinions, but she doesn't need to punch holes in the wall just for me to get my rocks off.
Here's how to know if your crush likes you without getting rejected.
That's
If
a
I
big
was
promise.
you, I would probably save this video because it will come in handy one day. If they message you and say, do you like anyone? Just reply with, yeah, you. And if they reply with something like, sorry, I'm just not into you, or I thought we were just friends, then say, no, what I meant was, I do like someone, do you? Just pretend you were asking a question the whole time. You're welcome.
This is like that situation where you drunk text somebody and you say something really forward and then you were like, just kidding, my friends took my phone and sent that. Like, nobody believes that. Obviously, can this work sometimes? Sure, but I generally think it doesn't, and there is a much better way to approach this. Because when you just profess your feelings for somebody, you are putting them on the spot to make a decision right then and there. And if they're not fully sold on being interested in you or they haven't felt attracted to you, the answer is almost always going to be no. Instead, get more comfortable flirting with women and creating that natural chemistry and then making a move. Rejection is an inevitable part of dating. If you're trying to avoid it, that usually means you're being really passive, which is why so many guys end up in the friend zone.
Stop debating with women. You're not going to get anywhere with it. You're going to make yourself frustrated. You're going to make yourself miserable. Because it's like you're talking to a dog or the wall.
What?
Listen, they don't understand you. Tell her what you want it to do, give your commands, and keep it moving. If she's not on board with it, tell her to kick rocks. That's it.
I hate this guy. I hate this guy. Do I even need to explain what's wrong here? If you fundamentally believe that a woman you're seeing is a dog or too stupid to understand you, then you will never see her as a human being. And therefore, you won't respect her, you won't love her, and I guarantee you will exhibit tons of controlling behavior. Yes, women on average prefer that the guy take the lead in a relationship more often than not. But the difference between a leader and a controller is that a leader says, hey, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I want, and I'm open to hearing your side. A controller says, here's what I want, and take it or leave it, or I'm going to manipulate you or force you or threaten you to give you exactly what I want. All women who are dating anyone who thinks even remotely like this misogynist should run.
So you're talking to a new guy and he asks you, so what is it that you look for in a guy? Like, what kind of qualities do you like in a man?
Reasonable.
Let me tell you why you should never answer that question up front.
Okay.
First of all, the only reason a guy's going to ask you that question is so that he can find the fastest way to get you hooked. Because if he knows what you want, he's just going to be that person. Even if that's not an accurate reflection of who he really is, he's going to put up that front because he knows that's what you want. So rather than give him a literal cheat sheet on how to manipulate you, I'm going to tell you how you're going to answer that question. You're going to tell him, how about you show me who you are, and then I'll let you know if you're the kind of guy I'm looking for. That way, he'll take you seriously because he knows you're not easily manipulated, and you're gonna save yourself a lot of time because you're gonna know within a few weeks whether or not that man passes your vibe check. Stay woke.
Stay toxic. I don't know about you, but most people are trying to go on dates to figure out whether or not the person that's on the other side of the table is a good fit for them. It is quite normal and healthy to try to explore the values within one another to make that determination. I'm sorry that you had a few guys manipulate you, but the answer isn't to be avoidant in communication and play these sorts of mind games. Because the guys that want to manipulate you are going to find a way to manipulate you whether you answer these questions or not. Instead, you should just get better at recognizing red flags, like when a guy's being jealous or controlling or aggressive or defensive, and be willing to walk away sooner than later. Because if you're putting up these arbitrary walls right from the start, all you're going to do is also screen out lots of good guys. Any self-respecting person is going to say, wow, this person's stonewalling me and being super aloof and making it difficult to get to know one another. This is crazy. I'm going to go find someone who's a lot more chill.
Why you should have a high body count. You want to make sure that your body count is way higher than her body count. Because if you're with a girl and her body count is higher than yours, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel upset.
Oh no!
You're going to feel like you haven't lived enough. And that will affect how you behave with that girl. You'll get needy, jealous, whiny. So make sure to have a high body count to prevent all those things, but make sure you do it safely.
Bruh. Sure, if you have very limited dating experience, then it's probably good to date around, understand yourself a little bit more, get some experience, and practice skills like good conversation and flirting. But you do not need to hit an arbitrary metric of body count just to be good enough for a woman. This is just a terrible message for people that are unwilling to build real self-esteem. Real self-worth will never come from anything external. You have to learn how to love everything you are and everything you aren't. And that has nothing to do with how many women you get laid with. So you're telling me a guy who's in great shape, has wonderful friends, and is crushing in his career needs to sleep with 10 more women just to not be a needy loser, even though he might have already slept with 10 in his life? Get out of here with that garbage, man.
He acts single, you act single. He makes no effort, you show no interest. He puts you second, you put him last. That shit goes both ways.
He doesn't communicate, you don't communicate. He has attachment issues, you have attachment issues. He acts like a toddler, you act like a newborn baby. Seriously, don't chase people that repeatedly don't invest in you. They either don't respect you or they're not that interested. By playing these games, you only lower your self-worth, and the chance that a normal, healthy relationship is going to evolve from this is basically zilch.